Before this video starts, I must thank Astronautical for coming up with the name of this series. A link to their channel will be in the description. They make great videos, please check them out if you can. Otto Witte was a German circus acrobat and former lion tamer who claimed he was crowned the King of Albania. His story goes like this. It was August of 1913 and Albania just broke away from the Ottoman Empire, and the Albanian Muslims invited Halim ad-Din, the Sultan's nephew, to be crowned the King of Albania. Otto noticed a strong resemblance between him and Halim, so he and his friend Max Schlepsig, a sword swallower, made their way to the Albanian capital where he got local troops to crown him king. Over the next 5 days, he enjoyed a harem and declared war on Montenegro, just because he could, before people realized he wasn't actually Hamid. He took part of the state's treasury, then Otto and Max, with the help of the harem, booked it back to Germany where the Albanians couldn't get to them. Otto became pretty famous at his public appearances in the circus, where he told this story, and the Berlin police allowed his identity card to include the pseudonym This, which means former king of Albania. That title was even included on his gravestone after he died in 1958. Now you might be thinking, so that's it, right? That's the story? How much time is there left on this video anyway? Well, I'm not finished, because you see, this story is sadly probably false. You see, the story of Otto Witte's escapade was all claimed by him, and there are some inconsistencies that make his story pretty much impossible. There are 3 reasons why Otto's story is probably false. The first one being that Otto first said that the story took place on February of 1913, not August. He changed it because he found out that Albania was still a part of Serbia at that point, which would have made the whole story not make any sense at all. The second one being that Halim ad-Din doesn't exist. Like, at all. The third reason is that Otto was probably a pathological liar, because this wasn't the only crazy tale he told, just the biggest one. Otto claimed that he was the honorary chief of a pygmy tribe in Africa. He also claimed that he tried to elope with the Emperor of Ethiopia's daughter, and that he was a candidate for the German presidency and got up to 230,000 votes, but resigned in favor of Paul von Hindenburg. Otto probably got the idea of his story from the best-selling adventure novel The Legend of Zelda. The Prisoner of Zenda, about a commoner who gets mistaken for a king and assumes the throne. The film adaptation of the novel came out in 1913, funny enough. Despite the fact that he would tell all of his stories as part of the circus, a weirdly high amount of people took his stories at face value. There was even a Times article written in 1958 about the circus that included him shortly before he died, where the writer doesn't seem to question the story's legitimacy at all. So although this at first seems like the wacky story of mistaken identity leading to mischief, it's actually a story of a cautionary tale about a fun story that was taken as fact without checking to make sure that it actually made sense. Of course, a fun story is a fun story, and even if it isn't true, there is nothing wrong with enjoying it. Just make sure you know it's fact before claiming it is.